Hello, this is Ronit on the East Coast,
Hello, this is Kate on the West Coast. WizCate,
and we are hopelessly
hopelessly unedited.
unedited. Yep. So last week, just a quick recap, we talked about some great French films, and there's a couple of follow-ups. So we talked about Birdcage, that's the America version, and then I also tried to say it in French, but it was a disaster, so I'm not gonna try to attempt to repeat
It
myself.
wasn't, it was great.
Yeah, funny, great. Anyway, and then we also had the second movie was Three Men and a Baby. That is a remake of the French version. Three Men in a Cradle actually is translated as. So I have a couple of listeners, viewer. So that other than this podcast, the same episode with the video is also uploaded to our YouTube channel as well. So if you want to see our faces, looking at a goof off in real life, you can go to our YouTube channel as well. So the
You can
two
see us on
listeners,
Spotify. I watch us
you
on
could,
Spotify.
yeah, you could too. But a lot of folks on Spotify, they download the audio and that's it. But anyway,
Hmm.
so there are a couple of listeners, viewer, sent me some feedback, and both of them said the American version of the Birdcage um, was one of their favorite movies. And so I did not watch it before last week's episode. I just did my research and I watched it over the weekend. It was really funny. But there's some sadness in it. And I was surprised that it was pretty moving too. So that's my take of that movie. There are funny moments, but there are also some moving moments. So I guess next I need to find the French version to watch it and see with subtitles.
Yeah. Well, your French isn't that bad, but it's true that you probably need subtitles.
I,
There's a bunch of slang and whatnot, so.
yeah, there's no way I could understand it. So anyway, so for this week, we're gonna move to my court. We're gonna talk about Chinese movies. So we picked two movies to talk
Exciting.
about. One of them, I think a lot of you know it. It's Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. But we're gonna start off with a little bit lesser known comedy, action comedy. It's called Shaolin Soccer. So a bit
Great.
of the name Shaolin is the Shaolin Temple in China, and the monks in that temple was known to practice their style of kung fu. So this movie is kind of based on that. Kate, you've seen it, right?
I've seen it. And I think it's funny that you should mention the Kung Fu because you've been a Kung Fu practitioner, right? You've done Kung Fu
Uh,
for a lot of years.
yeah, because I grew up watching kung fu movies, so I always thought that it's so cool that I could learn kung fu. But when I was in Hong Kong, it's probably just what my mom said. It's probably not true that people that learn kung fu has something to do with a triad. So, so don't go to the kung fu studio there. That's what my mom told me because, honestly, she just didn't want me to leave the house. Seriously. So,
Really?
um, yeah, she was really protective of me. So,
Oh, I thought it's because
um,
she knew you were a troublemaker.
maybe that too. Yeah, I compared to my siblings, I was just a little off color, but for a Chinese girl. But anyway, so I always wanted to learn kung fu. So I kind of, have my energy was put to sports. So I played a lot of sports. So since I came to America and I've taken martial arts and it's great. And the reason why Shaolin soccer resonates so much with me is the idea of it. And I think a lot of people they I actually watched this weekend. You can rent it for $3.99 from Amazon Prime. I think that's the only
Oh,
place, and you can also find it on Pluto TV for free. I started out there, except that it's in Spanish, no subtitle.
en español.
Yeah, no subtitles. So if you can speak Spanish, you can watch it for free. Anyhow, I don't know. It's dubbed, so I don't know how good the dubbing was either. But the one on Prime has subtitles. The subtitles was pretty good, and they were speaking Cantonese. So it's all pretty good. So I forgotten the first time I saw it because there are a lot of action comedies. It's very physical, and there's a good there's some messages in there that is easily missed because the beginning of the scene basically is a group of people that used to one, two, four or five of them used to study under a Shaolin monk, so they were
Okay.
called Kung Fu brothers. That's how we call it. um Si Heng Si Dai. That's the Chinese. And so they were supposed to let people know about the Kung Fu. But then, with the nowadays, people don't think about that. So they were just doing these odd jobs. And I think the most successful one was a stockbroker or something. So they met this guy that used to be when he was young, was a soccer star, but the guy that owned the team wanted it's a fixed game. So he missed the goals and everybody was so mad and broke his leg. And he was just down on his luck and he met this young gentleman, and then he said, well, why don't you play soccer? Because you can fly in the air. The Chinese kung fu movie, you can fly in the air and stuff. um and there are a lot of cool stuff that's happening. The guy explained that there was a really attractive young woman walking and stepped on a banana peel and fell, and then he said if she knew kung fu, she stepped on it, she would fly. And it's true.
She would. She would.
Yeah. Yeah, so those invisible wires, right? And then you have people that were trimming a bush that he was having such a hard time. But if he knew kung fu, it would be like Edward Scissorhands, right? So everything you do, if you know kung fu, it would be so much easier. So the guy that had the broken leg said, well, why don't you use kung fu to play soccer? So he just have this soccer team, and it was just amazing. So I'm gonna share my screen
So all the monks,
to
all the
yeah,
monks are part of the soccer team, right? They end up.
correct.
Yeah.
Well, they're not really monks. They are
Students.
they studied under, yeah, students. So this is one of the guys. So they kind of played a tribute to Bruce Lee a little bit. So this one guy,
Yeah.
right? So and it's pretty amazing. And then this woman, oh, she's my favorite. She's not in one of the part of studying under a monk, but she herself studied Tai Chi. This is a photo of her with her head shaved, spinning a ball on her finger to help out at the end as the last substitute. So it's very great because in the beginning, so what she does is she makes steam buns, and she was handling the dough with these Tai Chi um, forms. So as you can see here, like that hand thing that's going on is to manage the flour. And then look, she made a yin
The
yang
yin yang.
all of it. Yeah, not perfect. Now
Yeah.
here is this guy trying to kick the soccer that way, or football. It's a true football. Um, and then there's some crazy intense scenes going on, and he's blocking the soccer, and then it burns his clothes. And this guy, like, they're all superheroes. Yeah, they're like doing these like crazy things, and all of a sudden fires. Look, it was like blowing. It's amazing.
I remember
I
this movie as
highly.
being super funny.
It is. It
I
is
love.
super funny. But at the end, honestly, the moral is so great. Um, the
Do you want
moral
to
of it
give the?
is,
Do you want to give the ending away, or do you want our listeners to watch it?
oh, you're right. Go watch it. It's amazing. And I'll tell
So
you.
what I liked about this, to me, when I watched Shaolin Soccer, if I remember well, I could see like a cartoon or a comic strip. I could see those moments like you just put together, like those iconic poses, that you can put in a frame on a comic strip.
Mm-hmm.
and some of them were like completely out of control. Like this guy kicking a ball upside down, like you showed that. Like who does that, right? It's almost like Happy Gilmore. Do you remember Happy Gilmore? And here he is,
Yeah.
like hitting the golf ball, with like some sort of a baseball batting prop. Like it was just or hockey. I don't remember that, but I know it wasn't a
I
golf
mean,
swing.
I actually wonder because this movie was made in the early 2000s, and some of these crazy effects on these
Uh,
you know stupid funny American movies. I wonder if somebody just like look at. I mean, it's not just Hong Kong, right? Japan or um, Korea or other Asian countries or China. They use this kind of technique have been using that for a long time, right? I wonder if somebody in America, some filmmaker, just looked at it as like, hey, that's stupid funny. Maybe it'll be great, and do that. I don't
I
know.
mean, what about Jackie Chan? Like he's been making stuff like this for what 40 years or something like that, right? He's been making movies, and they're
Yeah, but
goofy
I feel
funny
like,
with like a lot of
but
technique.
it's not stupid funny. Like with the fires in the back,
Oh
that
yeah,
kind of
well,
effect,
I don't know.
I don't think Jackie had a lot of those, but he's great. He
I
has
think his
like
movies are generally very funny.
they are. They are. I think the girls, my daughters, when they were young, when we watched Jackie Chan movies together, they would say, "Oh my gosh, he's like a monkey. He could just like go through these tiny spaces and stuff like that." I mean, those are the great Jackie Chan things. But I'll tell you how profoundly martial art movies affect my life. Not only that I took martial arts, my dog Yuki, that
Uh-huh.
he was a nut job when he was a puppy. He was reactive to other dogs. When he was young, he he tried to jump this car. I was, in Washington and on the streets. It's very quiet. All of a sudden a car came by and he tried to chase it. And I had kind of a little bit longer leash. I kung fu'd it. I honestly did a Tai Chi ring to pull the leash so that I could get the leverage. You want to see it?
Yeah,
You want to see it?
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. 1 second. Let me show you.
Isn't that Michelle Yao's signature
It's
move?
a Tai Chi thing. I don't know if it's a signature, but like, cause I had to round the leash up and then got the leverage and pull it down so that I could like kind of plunk him low. And then there was a guy across the street saw me doing that, and he's like, "Kung Fu dog walking?" He yelled over, "Kung Fu dog walking?" I'm just like, yeah. Anyway, yeah, I think everybody should try to watch this Shaolin Soccer again. If you speak Spanish fluently, you can watch it for free on Pluto TV. No subtitles, so you probably want to know Spanish. Or $3.99 to rent at Amazon Prime or $4.99 to own. So I almost bought it just because it's such a fun movie. So,
Yeah,
and there's a moral to the
I might,
story at the end too. So
I might watch it again. I, I might
yeah,
watch it again. I love kung fu movies. I'm just like you. I like the action. I like the energy that's in there, and the humor is usually so good. It's usually like even in very small moves or like a look or some just a small. You're okay. It's just something just happens, like in a second, and it's funny, and you're like, "Oh man, that was funny." Uh, it's I love
yeah,
that. I
totally.
think the physical comedy is just great, but there's like amazing craft underneath, right? Like there's these people, they know their craft really well. They're really good
Mhm.
martial artists, and they know their stuff. It's fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah, so after you watch Shaolin Soccer, you can look for other ones. There's another one called Kung Fu Hustle. That one is even crazier. Have you seen Kung Fu Hustle?
Maybe. Is it old?
Yeah, that one is more. Yeah, it's older. It's more crazy. Even I haven't seen much of the newer movies. It just get me wanting to kind of research and see the newer movies, but we'll see.
There's a lot of
Okay.
funny moves in martial arts movies from East Asia, but there's also a bunch of crazy stuff going on in South Asia. You know, with the Bollywood and Indian movies where
Mm-hmm.
people to do things that are just absolutely insane. Um,
Yeah.
with terrible special effects, and I
Uh,
think that's what is so funny about them is how awful the special effects are.
um, I think they should keep it. I'm with all the AI realistic thing. Let's go old fashioned. I think that's much better, right?
Yeah, it's more of a
Um,
crafty.
so yeah. And so this is like a silly, funny movie. So let's go with a little more serious kung fu movie, which
Can
is
I
I think a lot of American audience. Yep, go ahead.
can, can I say something? I think it's funny. So
Yeah.
you picked two kung fu movies. I think it's very funny that the East Asian movies that you're picking, they are about physical comedy and like you know uh, a lot of martial arts and jumping, running, climbing trees, and flying, right? Because the other movie is about flying. And then the French movies that we discussed they had a bit of physical comedy, right? They have to have some physical
Hmm.
comedy. Slapstick is funny, but it's definitely. I mean, these guys, you know, they're all kind of chubby, or they trip because they're not. They're goofy. They can't stay standing up. So it's funny, like how your movies are about these guys who are hugely talented with their bodies, and my movies are about these guys who just bum French people. You know, like this is what happens. Anyway,
Well, you know, it's I think it's also a little bit cultural, right? Because kung fu is
yeah,
such a big
totally.
part. Because there are tons of also novels worked about kung fu. Um, so a lot of the movies they also make that is based on a series of book, which is our second movie too, is Crouching Tiger's Hidden Dragon. That a lot of people know about it. Just a little bit of history. I don't know if you heard of it. That it's
Okay.
actually based on a series of 5 books written, I think it's in the 40s. So the movie itself is basically based on the fourth book.
So
And
they're actually
there
written
were,
books. They're not comics.
correct, correct. They're
Okay.
written books. And in 1967, there was a version in Hong Kong that's loosely based on it. Um, based on the same book series, but it's taken parts from each book of the 5 book series. And they said that they also have a completely different name. It's because they said that because it was made in 67. That was like kind of in the height of cultural revolutions. It was really hard for them to get the copyright. So that's why. So they very loosely based on it. Um, so it's 5 books, and because I think I remember watching the movie the first time, that there was a history between Michelle Yeoh's character and Fat's character. That there was another person that they were supposed to be the kung fu, seeing the brothers that was engaged to Michelle and all that. And I was thinking, oh, what are the backstories? It's because there were 3 books before that. Um, so now I did the research. That makes sense now.
Do you
Um,
know? Do you know if they've made the other movies of the other books that could
yeah.
flow into? Okay, you were
So
going to
there
say
was
that.
one. Yeah, there was one. It's Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, The Sword of Destiny, and that one Donnie Yen was in it. Also with Michelle Yeoh, but they changed it. That's the 5th book. That's the final book. Do you remember the governor's daughter got kind of kidnapped and
Uh-huh.
had a relationship with this guy they're supposed to have a child together. So the fifth book is more heavily about the child, and Michelle Yeoh's character and Donnie Yen's character were still supposed to be in the book, but taken a much lesser role because um, how popular and how well known Michelle is and was. So that story, they kind of taken the liberty of focusing on those two characters instead. So it's not a very good adaptation. That's what people think, because also they were speaking English. Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, of course, the original track is Chinese, right? So, but there are
With
5 books about that.
Chinese from Chinese, Cantonese, Chinese, Mandarin, what Chinese?
So the books?
No, the movie.
You're talking
And
about
the
books?
books, I guess. Yeah.
The books, the
Both.
written form, it doesn't matter. The written form is we use the same written form. Although Cantonese speaker in Hong Kong, they invented some characters just because how popular the movies and stuff was. But the original book is written in the form that, if you read Chinese, you can understand it. By the way, all the 5 series, the series of 5 books, you can get them on Kindle for $9.99. But it's in Chinese. It's not translated. So I don't know if I have the patience to read it. I may not, which brings it to the exciting thing that I was going to tell you about.
Okay.
Yeah.
You haven't yet told me, so let's go.
Yeah, there you go. So I didn't know that until I'm like researching into this. Amazon Studio is developing a series of this book series so that you can watch in detail, and they try to stay as close to the book series as possible so you can watch it, all 5 of them. So the original series, basically it's called Crane Iron 5-step symphony or songs. So I don't know what they're going to call it, but it's so you can see all 5 books, the whole storyline, and going there. It's still in
So they're
development.
they're making a series on that.
A TV series, so that it would talk about all 5 books, so you can watch that saga chronologically.
With Michelle Yeoh and Chow Yun-fat.
They say it's still getting being developed. I'm not a filmmaker. I don't know. They haven't announced any cast member, so if everything goes well, they might start filming on 2026 this year, and then we can probably see it next year. So that is really exciting, like a KungFu series.
I'm happy.
It'll
be fun.
Oh my
I
God,
love that
I would
movie.
be like dreaming about it.
The Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon showed some stuff I'd never seen before. Like, it was so beautiful and so artsy, and so like these folks, again, that craft, the mastery of their craft. But there's some beauty in the images and the story. It was amazing. And then they had super strong female characters, and you're like, dang, you see Michelle Yeoh out there, you're like, whoa, this woman, she's badass.
Yeah. Even the younger governor's daughter. I'm
You're
not badass. Well, I would say that the martial art training,
I'm kind of badass.
helps me to be aware of my surroundings and always be prepared mentally. And I think you and I had the discussion, bad people, they're predators, right? And they would go to the easy target immediately. But if you have the training, gave me the confidence to not to be the prey. So I think that's what helps me, yeah, because it's kind of like, you come at me, you're gonna lose an eye or something, even if I lose. So
for sure,
that's my attitude.
You're badass.
No, one thing that I don't know if you know this about that movie is that the acting, the it's really true to the culture. I think innately we're more reserved. Chinese people are more reserved, more inward. So the exchange between Chow Yun Fat and Michelle Yeoh, it's very inward. That passion that they had, it's not big dramatic thing, but you can just feel that tension. That
Oh yeah.
there's just something with them. So it's the acting. I don't know how many people know this. I actually can imagine some people might think, oh, they acted like they don't have any expression. The expression is not vivid enough. I don't know if anybody would think that, because if you look at melodramas in America, you would think bigger, more grand, show of affection and emotion, but they're not. It's very inward, right? So I can see it. I can see why they act
It's
like
sort
that,
of
and I really
private.
thought that was excellently done.
It's sort
Correct.
of
It's
private.
very
Yeah.
excellent, like the acting. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
um, so go watch. I would recommend anyone that's seen Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, go watch it again. Think of what Kate said about
Yeah. I'm gonna
the
go see it
the artsy
again.
cinematography. Yeah, cinematography, and the wire work, how people flying around, that's just amazing too. So
And the
I think that's
colors
the
were
first time that
insane.
is the oh yeah, yeah. So I think that's the first time American audience really experienced that wire work that they were doing, and of course later on the Matrix and whatnot, Charlie's Angels, a lot of wiring work. So go see it again, and you can also see the sequel, Sword of Destiny, and compare it, because that's not made by a Chinese director. Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, the great An Lee was a director. So you can kind of compare the difference. It'll be fun.
Yeah. That they had a
So,
fighting scene in the bamboos there that was just crazy. And just
yeah, pretty.
incredible. Incredible. And you just kind of go
Mm-hmm.
like, how can they choreograph something like this so closely and make it beautiful? It's like dancing. It was just really fantastic. It just, and for me, it was
Yeah,
really
that
the first,
dancing thing.
you know, the Jackie Chan movies. Like I know he was an acrobat, I guess, at in Beijing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so he has a lot of grace in himself too already. But I think he's also more goofy. Like his stuff is about making something, like playing with the elements around him. So like he'll play with a bunch of chairs, or he'll go around, some window or whatever. Um, but but in this one, they it's like they're dancing with each other, and they're dancing against each other, and they're dancing with the environment as well. So like that particular fight. So there's the fight on when they're running after the guy at the beginning on the rooftops. That's insane.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of that wire work you're talking about where they're just sort of leaping and making these fabulous jumps. And then that fight in the bamboo where they're climbing the bamboo, and it just feels so together. Like everything is sort of, you're like inside this whole entire mess of fight, uh, just looking, just observing, and they're flying all around you. It's amazing.
Oh, yeah, totally. Um, but go watch them and look forward to the Amazon Studios series. I am looking forward to it. So any comments you have, please let us know. And so I have another exciting news for you, Kate.
Oh, okay, I'm excited.
Yeah. So I think you know who that is after I describe a dear friend of ours. It's going to be our guest. And we worked with him, and he
It's a
decided that he's
man.
going to follow his passion. Yep, it's a man. 6'4", maybe. And he decided to make a movie, independent movie.
Johnny
He made a
Bravo.
few of them. One, yes, Johnny Bravo.
Okay, I
That's
know who it is.
the first time I saw him. I thought he looked like Johnny Bravo. And he also has a band, and he's gonna have a solo single coming out, and we're gonna have him on our week, and it's very exciting.
Wow, that's thrilling. I'm
Yeah.
excited. I can't wait. I haven't seen him in a while. I'm excited to hear some
I
news.
know it'll be fun to chit chat.
Yeah.
Yeah, he would be really great on this podcast because he's hilarious.
He'll be our first guest. I'm so
So
thrilled.
anyway, and imagine that he's one of those guests that will have him back regularly. So yeah. Anyway,
Great.
well, with that said,
Time flies.
time flies. Oh my God, time flies when you're having fun. So
Time does kung fu when
so
you're
give
having
us any
fun.
feedback. Yep, kung fu, and you even saw my move. Pretty cool this time, right? Kate, you always look like I'm insane, but you always look at me like she's insane. That's okay.
You're insane.
We're still friends.
But I love you.
Anyway, I am. I love you too. Anyway, well, so this is Ronit on the East Coast.
And I'm WizCate on the West Coast. Be seeing you, people.
And we are hopelessly unedited. And until next time, yep, see you guys next week. Bye.
Ciao, ciao. Bye.